Hello and welcome back to the Delve podcast. Today's episode is all about regret. We're talking about the historian's fallacy and regretting past decisions. It's sure to be a juicy one, so I hope you guys enjoy. I'm Allie. I'm a staff therapist here at Delve Psychotherapy of Chicago.
And I'm Adam. I'm the Executive and Clinical Director at Delve Psychotherapy of Chicago.
Help spread the word with this podcast. We are not trying for fame here. We don't plan to run any ads. We're just trying to be helpful and add value to as many people's lives as possible. So if you feel so inclined, we'd really appreciate it if you shared this podcast with at least one other person. It would really help us out.
Feel inclined. Feel inclined.
Is feel so inclined not correct?
No, sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was trying to put pressure on the listener to feel the sense of inclinedness so that they
I thought you were correcting my English.
Anywho's, I would never. You know how I feel about English.
I know, I've corrected yours.
Yeah, we're making it up as we go along.
Yes, feel inclined. Share the podcast. Okay.
I would never correct your English.
Here at Delve, we offer individual, couples, group, and family therapy. So if you are interested in a free consultation call, head on over to delvepsych.com. That's DELVEPSYCH.com. And check out our Substack. We have many, many blog posts over there at delvepsych.substack.com.
I regret interrupting you.
Well, you're right on topic with that statement, Adam. Regret. Oh, yeah, it's heavy. A lot of people experience it. And what do we do with it when that emotion rears its ugly head?
I have made the somewhat, hot takey statement in the past that I don't think that regret is a legitimate emotion.
Okay, you need to explain that further.
So regret has, I think of this as a cognitive process. To regret something is to kind of believe that making certain choices could have led to a different outcome. I didn't like the outcome. So firstly, I think it ends up being outcomes focused. If it went well, why would we be regretting it? Now, perhaps you'd say, well, it turned out okay, but I really don't like the way that I went about that. Then what you're regretting is the now perspective that you have on the past approach you took. So no matter what we're doing in this context, we're sort of looking backward in time at past actions, past framings, past understandings, past knowledge, and imposing something of a present worldview on our past self. And the only reason we would do that is there's something in the present that makes us uncomfortable about that outcome.
Yeah. So basically what you're saying is that this idea of regret is more of a cognitive process than an emotion?
Not only is it cognitive, I also think that it is based on a fallacy, which is the historian's fallacy, a cognitive fallacy, a logical fallacy. So this is one of the I never remember the difference between the formal and informal fallacies. I think this is an informal fallacy, but essentially the way that this comes to be is that the person in the present moment is looking backward at their past decisions and saying, oh, I should have made a different choice. That's really what we're coming down to, is if we're saying that I regret what I did, then I'm looking backward in time at a past choice and saying I should have made a different choice.
Right.
The only way where I'm being slightly reductive here that I can spot at least is you will hear people colloquially say, like, well, I regret what happened. I regret how it turned out. That's not exactly the flavor of regret I'm talking about here. I I think that's a way of saying I don't like what happened. I don't like what it ended up coming out of all of this. But the pattern of regret that I'm talking about is this kind of thought structure that goes, I wish I could have made a different choice, or I wish I did make a different choice,
Mhm.
because then outcome was bad.
Right. I mean, it's the age-old phrase of hindsight is 2020. We don't know what we don't know. And I think in general, we do make the best decisions at the time with the information that we have at the time. And we don't have the information that we have in the future when we're looking back on this situation. So I think we do the best that we can with the knowledge that we have. Um so yeah. So I can see how this is more of a cognitive, yeah, it's a cognitive fallacy. And like perhaps the emotion, if we're saying regret is not an actual emotion, maybe the thoughts are regretful, but the emotion is like sorrow or disappointment.
Sure, in discriminating amongst cognition and emotion, absolutely, and hell yes, and I agree with that framing. I still think the pattern of thought of regret is also illegitimate, as in, like, it is itself the historian's fallacy.
Right. It's a fallacy in itself that we are thinking
Think
this
that
way.
way. Exactly, right.
Yes.
Because, as you said, I didn't have the now information then. Let's say I buy a gift for my sister. I don't have a sister, but I buy a gift for my sister, and she's actually really offended by what I got her. I thought it was like nothing. I didn't think it was going to be an offensive thing. I thought it was a nothing thing. But there's something about this gift in particular that I didn't realize would upset her. So I buy this gift with good intentions, and she's really upset by it and feels really disrespected by it. And I could say, oh man, I really regret buying that gift. But what did past me know? What did past me think? What did my past me believe? That was the context in which the decision was being made. You
Right.
say, well, but I should have known. But how? How would you have known? They had the information that they had at the time. They had the perspective that they had at the time. They had the beliefs that they had at the time. That's where they were at the time. Anything beyond that is magical thinking, where you're sort of believing that you could somehow have had access to information, perspective, awareness that you didn't. You just didn't have.
Yes.
And you could say, okay, well, but like I should have had it. How should you have had it? How should you have had knowledge that you didn't have? Well, I should have realized that I should be more aware in this area, or have thought about and have learned that. The now me is saying that because of this experience. This
Mm-hmm.
experience led me to believe that I should learn more about this.
Right. If the sister had loved the gift, then we
We're
wouldn't be
good.
having any of these thoughts or feelings. Yeah.
We're fine.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So the historian's fallacy is really just propping up this pattern of magical thinking that I could somehow have had different information, different beliefs, different structures of thought in my past. It's bullshit. No, you couldn't.
Mm-hmm. You know, but you could still feel a certain type of way about your sister being upset by the gift that you gave her.
How might we feel as a result of that?
Oh, perhaps embarrassed or ashamed.
Yeah, that's them's is now emotions.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm feeling that embarrassment. I'm feeling that shame right here, right now. I also think that regret and this historian's fallacy has a way of kind of like blocking us from dealing with the emotions as they are. I'm embarrassed right now. I'm ashamed right now, and I should deal with that right now,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
personally, emotionally, relationally.
Yeah. Yeah. Or maybe even like worried about what this will do for the relationship. Yes. Yeah. So connect with your sister about it. Yeah. And
If you
deal with
can.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
absolutely. So it's sort of a distraction from the work that is to be done relationally, emotionally, personally.
Hmm. No, it's so interesting. I mean, and it again, it's so relatable. So many people like are like, oh man, I should have done this. I should have done that. I regret doing that. And it's all things that like And it keeps you so stuck too, because you literally can't go back, time travel in the past and change what happened and fix it. So you're just spinning your wheels right now.
Absolutely. Plus, many a fiction author has warned us about the pitfalls of believing that you could go back into the past and change things. I mean, how many stories involve going back in the past, trying to change the past, and discovering that we get a much worse outcome in the future as a result?
Things get all sorts of messed up when we go back and we go in the DeLorean and we go back.
Actually, that might be one of the examples that turns out okay.
Turns out okay.
Well, gosh, I'm trying to remember, how did those movies end? Do they actually change the future?
My partner will be so pissed off at me that I can't remember what happens in this movie because it's such a classic and I should be better at my movie knowledge.
Me too, I guess. I don't know.
Well, I'm sure there's listeners that know what happened in Back to the Future.
So many people right now. We shouldn't have brought this up. Oh God, we've done it again.
It's all my fault. It's all my fault.
Oh.
Okay, let's go back. Let's re-record. Here.
No.
Okay,
no. Let them be mad at us.
Yeah, that's the trouble with this podcast. We can say, oh, let's delete that and say it again if we want to.
We can, but we will choose not to.
But we will choose, for the sake of this episode, because the topic is regret. we will not. We will
avoid the topical irony here.
Anyways, yeah. Any other thoughts on the historian's fallacy and how you might help a client who comes to you with feelings of regret for a decision they made in the past?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a hard sell. I don't think that people buy this argument easily. I really do think that people hang on to their regretful emotions, and a lot of that is wanting to cling to something from their past or avoid some negative outcome from their past. I wish that this thing didn't happen, but really, at the end of the day, it's the ends justify the means style argument, and my response is always, no, they don't. They just don't. It's the outcomes that matter. If we engage in that outcome-oriented thinking, we will always be chasing things like attainment and avoiding things like bad experience, even though those are the things that help us grow, and they're inevitabilities of life. What I would encourage people to do much more instead is to engage in a much more kind of process-oriented lifestyle, a process-oriented way of thinking, which is maybe another episode we do at some point. But instead of trying to get something, I want people to try to live some way.
Yeah. And how I could see how much of a hard sell that would be. Because yeah, of course we want like the best possible outcomes for ourselves, but life is often going to give you lemons. Things aren't going to turn out the way you always perfectly envision. I'm sure that in this fake scenario that you made up when you envisioned, giving the birthday present to your sister, you envisioned her being so overjoyed and thankful and, oh my God, this was the perfect gift. How did you know? I love that you knew me so well. You got me this gift. That's what we had pre-planned in our heads of like how this interaction was going to go. And we can't, because we don't know what's going to always happen and what is in other people's brains and how they're going to respond to things.
Yeah. Magical thinking.
It would be great if we knew. It would be great if we could see the future. Like, That's So Raven. Now, this is a show I actually know. Like,
I'm aware of the title from the the 90s, the noughties. When was this around?
Oh, it's the early 2000s, Adam.
Okay. I should have known.
But yeah. But even she she sees into the future, and so she tries to help things go a certain way or fix things because she doesn't want certain outcomes that she sees happen in the future. And by meddling and trying to fix things, often things go haywire and it's worse. So,
Yeah.
it's really embarrassing that I know more about That's So Raven than the plot of Back to the Future, but here we are.
Well, it sounds like we've got some homework to do to bring ourselves back into alignment with society. I don't know.
Now, you know what? I'm proud of my young millennial knowledge.
I'm proud of you too, Allie. If I could make, just because we're talking so much time travel referencing here, I also watched this really interesting video, I think from the guy that does Minute Physics on YouTube, that outlined the different kind of philosophies on future time travel that exist in fiction novels, because they're not all the same. They have different takes on what time travel does and is, especially with respect to if you go back in the past, are you still there? Or are there two versions of you? Is there the same version of you? And different fiction authors have treated that differently. So it's such an interesting video where he kind of breaks down the different takes and then kind of maps them out for you. And I think it's so fascinating. So if any of this time travel-y stuff is interesting to you, go check out that Minute Physics video. It's cool.
Whoa. That's really cool. That blew my mind. I was trying to piece it together in my brain, and I was like, yeah, is that the still you that goes back and forth? Anyways.
Yeah. Or is it two different me's?
Is it
what
two
happens
versions?
if my past me meets my me? My now me, right?
Wait, I think that does happen in Back to the Future. Maybe not the first one or the second one. I don't know. But doesn't he run into himself?
He does, and I also think he ends up having a weird romantic dalliance with his mother or something like that.
See, that's the weird part.
It's
See, that's what I said. When you go in the DeLorean, things go haywire. So I wasn't off.
Oh, that's haywire? That's the definition of haywire?
I just don't know how it ends. I forget. Maybe things do end up good in the end. Anyways.
There's so many people who are so angry at us listening to this right now.
Adam and I know a lot of things about psychology and the like, but
yeah, you're supposed to be the film person. I relied on you.
I'm so embarrassed. I'm not supposed to be the film person. I was the actress that didn't watch a lot of films that I should have watched.
Yeah, and the same with me in improv. I should be watching all these comedy films, and people will bring up the most classic comedy movies. I'm like, yeah.
No.
Oh.
I still haven't seen The Godfather.
Neither have I.
Or Gone with the Wind. Or
I think I have seen that.
Casablanca, still haven't seen it.
I've seen Casablanca.
Embarrassing. People, yeah, you can
judge
you control me if you want to. It's okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, this episode went really haywire, but I don't regret it.
Not in the way that Back to the Future went haywire.
No, it didn't. No.
Thank God.
Listen, I don't regret how off the rails this episode.
Whatever, we're having fun.
We're having fun. Okay. I hope the people listening are having as much fun listening as we are just chatting. Well, I hope this was helpful on the topic of regret. If anything, we brought some levity to this topic that can really plague some people's minds sometimes of what they regret. And so just goes to show, even if we could, go back in time, we can't, but even if we could, that's not always a perfect solve either. So
right.
Just bring in some levity to that. And yeah, hindsight is always 2020. So you think you should have or could have had the knowledge in the past, but you didn't. And all you can work from is right now, the present. That's all you have.
I've also got a quote in my quote book. I think this was the title of an album or a song or something like that, but hindsight is 50-50. And I really like that because really hindsight, like if you were gazing into your past, you yourself are a biased viewer looking at your past. And so which way is it going to go? It's going to kind of depend on the whims of your current cognition, right? So how am I going to see it? I don't know. Flip a coin. We'll see.
Yeah, we should spread that new phrase and see if it takes. It's 50-50. I have a feeling it won't, but we can try.
I think that old album did try, and it only made it as far as me, and I never listened to their album. So
Okay, well, there you go. All right, we have a new quote on the board. Even the past is the present. Even the past is the present.
So what I'm getting at here is, I think we need. I'm rarely the one to make a neurobiological argument, but I'm going to make a neurobiological argument. I think it's better, by the way, if we think within the context of psychology, not within neurobiology, to understand psychology. I think that's been one of the mistakes of psychology overall, has been an over-reliance on neurobiology. And there's an excellent book, one of my absolute favorites, super dense but very informative, called Mind Fixers, that gets into this in even greater detail. But I'm going to make the neurobiological argument because it must be the case that the hardware upon which all of our remembering experiences exists is just hardware that is right here, right now. So every memory that you've ever made and every experience that you've ever had lives in your brain right now. It sort of seems like it's out there somewhere. It sort of feels like it's in the past somewhere, but it actually does live in your brain right here, right now. And even then, every time we recall it, we kind of change it a little bit. This is one of the ways that memory is really fallible. It feels so solid, so definite, but actually we know that memory is extremely fallible in some very predictable ways, especially magnification and personalization and things of that nature. Every time we remember, we change the memory. So not only is it here right now with us, but it's not out there. It's not really all that concrete. And we're changing it every time we try to engage it. But that's also true of the future. Every single hope, every single plan, everything that you dream of into your future lives in your neurons right here, right now. So if you think about it, your entirety of your past and your entirety of your future as you see it is right here, right now. It isn't somewhere else. It didn't previously exist, sort of. Like even if it did, that's not what I have access to. I have access to my neurons right here, right now. So if it was somewhere, I don't get that. I get what I have stored in my little neurons. Everything is the present moment.
Yeah. So the lens with which we're looking through the past and the lens with which we're looking through to the future is through right now, the present lens, how we're thinking and feeling right now.
Even that framing sort of suggests that we were looking through ourselves at something. I'm saying that the at something is our neurons, right? Like right here, right now. There is no way to gaze the reality of the past. There is no way to gaze at the reality of the future. Now you say, well, but what if I watch a videotape? We still have biases with respect to how in the present moment we are even engaging that material. And as soon as we turn it off, we'll have those biases like certainly in full force. I will notice things from the past differently. If I look at an old photo, I do this with clients quite often. If I look at an old photo today and then I look at it again in 20 years, I'm going to see different things, and maybe vastly different things, even though it's the same photo.
Yeah, new things come up. Yeah.
I've done this with a client recently. They look at an old photo and they say, why isn't he smiling? It's his birthday. Why isn't he smiling? I never noticed that before.
Ooh. How interesting. Yeah, we are the makeup of who we are right now. And it's the past is embedded in that. I guess that's what you're saying. It's
Yeah.
interesting. No,
All we have is the present moment.
I mean, truly, I think a lot of therapy could be like a lot of how do I say this? I feel like a lot of times in therapy with clients, that's what I give them is like, well, you have right now. You have like, you know, you're not in the past and you're not in your future. The present is all you have. I'm gonna say control, but the present is all that you can is the only thing that you can do something with right now. So
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. How interesting. Okay, I'm gonna take one more stab at the ending of Back to the Future. I think I think maybe at the end, don't they have to like doesn't don't they come back and they're like, oh, now we have to go to the future? Like
Maybe that's what happens in the first one.
yeah, at the end of Back to the Future, I think at the end they're like, oh, now we have to go to the future and fix something because they went to the past. And then I think at the end they're like, oh wait, we're not done. There's something else we gotta fix.
Yeah, like maybe in the first one they get stuck in the past, so they have to get back to the future. And then at some point they end up being in the future, and then at another point they end up having to get back to the future because they have to change something in the future again. That's my take.
Yeah, I just think it ends on a cliffhanger of like, oh, we got to get back in the DeLorean. I think that's what it is. Anyways, so even that, if my memory probably is not correct, let me know in the comments if I'm right or wrong. And
we just alienated so much of our listenership.
Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Doll Podcast. And if you're interested in our services, we offer individual, couples, group, and family therapy. And head on over to delvepsych.com, delvepsych.com for a free consultation call. And head on over to Substack. That's where all of our lovely blog posts are at delvepsych.substack.com.
Thank you, Allie. That was fun.
That was really fun, and I don't regret it.
Bye.
Bye.